Hello, I'm a slice of beef lasagna. How is your life today? I wanted to talk about the Mortal Kombat 2 movie. This is just going to be off the top of my head. I usually like to script things, but I'm just going to just talk because I just stepped out of the movie. So I guess the first thing I'll say, just the TLDR, this movie is pretty fucking awesome. It's really good. I enjoyed it. I got what I wanted out of it as a Mortal Kombat fan. I'll start by telling you a bit about the movie if you plan to see it. So this is Mortal Kombat 2. This is the sequel to Mortal Kombat movie that was released a few years ago. So in the first movie, it was taking place before the tournament. And now in Mortal Kombat 2, we are at the tournament and we are watching as our heroes take on Outworld in order to save Earthrealm. That's pretty much the gist of the movie. We're at the Mortal Kombat tournament now. We're going to watch the tournament happen, have some fun, get some fatalities, get some action. All right, that's the movie. If you want to see that, if you're a fan of Mortal Kombat, go and see it. Yeah, awesome. Just an action movie with some cool fight scenes and stuff. You know, there's a lot about this movie that I really enjoyed. In particular, really like a lot of the production design overall is just, I think it's pretty well done. They pull a lot from the video games. It really, like, a lot of the characters are using, for the most part, their powers that are in the game and even some moves that are in the games. A lot of movies nowadays are trying to be funny and then also be serious at the same time because they want to take on that Marvel kind of style of storytelling, which this movie does try to do that, but I think this movie succeeds a little bit more so in that fashion because a lot of the character arcs that happen throughout the movie are well done and, you know, they have a nice bow onto them and things like that, and we get a lot of awesome character moments for every single character. Without further ado, I'm going to talk about spoilers now. So this movie opens up with the final fight of the 10th Mortal Kombat tournament between Edenia and Outworld. We get to see Shao Kahn take over Edenia. I thought it was really interesting to see more of an emotional side to Mortal Kombat. You know, these characters are dying, and that's something that I always thought was kind of, it's kind of hard to juxtapose, like, the stakes versus, like, having fun, I guess, in the movie per se. But yeah, I thought it was really interesting and great how they did King Jared's death in the beginning. As suspected, there is no explanation for Jade's baldness. I did actually talk about Jade's baldness recently with Shin Fits back in another video that I did. If you want to check that out, please feel free to go check that out. I think overall Jade as a character was perfectly fine. She's Jade. Like, I don't know how else to explain what Jade is besides her just being an assassin for Shao Kahn, and that's what she ended up being, and then she ultimately decides to go against Shao Kahn, and that's what happens in the movie. Like, it's, as we discussed in that other video, like, they've got everything done for the character right, except I guess the hair matters to people every so much, the length of the hair. But anyway, there was a lot of jokes in the movie that were just like referencing real world things. Whenever the jokes have to reference other things, other properties, I don't know, they kind of just hit a little bit differently and they don't hit as well. And it just takes you out of the movie a bit. Like, every single joke was a reference to some other property. It's like they were like happy with themselves and they thought they were so clever with coming up with those jokes or something. I don't know. But whatever. I'm really happy to see that there was no retcons in this movie. It really doubles down on the previous movie, and I think that's a very smart choice. And that's what I would like to see from the video game series itself, is just, you know, doubling down on what it creates. Even though there is negative feedback, you know, for the previous movie, and I feel like this one follows through on that feedback and, you know, improves immensely. Like, this movie doesn't try to be more than what it is. It's like it's just Mortal Kombat. There's going to be fighting, and that's what it is. Yeah, it doesn't try to be more than what it is. It's just it is what it is, and it's happy to just give you some fight scenes and give you all these characters that they pulled from the video games. They have their costumes. Yeah, speaking of which, I really love the subtle nods to the video game costume designs. Like, for instance, Kano has like a black sweater vest with some red trim, which is reminiscent of his design from Mortal Kombat 3 or Mortal Kombat 9. Yeah, so a lot of the characters, all their outfits pull from previous iterations of Mortal Kombat, and I thought that that was a really nice touch. It really shows that these people care about Mortal Kombat as a property, and they have faith in the property, and they want to put it on display. They want to put it front and center for everybody. But yeah, overall, this movie has great pacing. That was another thing I really liked. They didn't spend too much time talking and giving exposition and all this other stuff. Like, it was like, hey guys, this is what we're doing for about 5-10 minutes. They'll say that, and then you'll get like a 10-minute fight scene, and then they'll go back to talking for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then you'll get like a 10-minute fight scene. Like it's really good about just bumping you back and forth between, here's some levity, here's fighting, here's some side quest, here's the fighting, here's the next thing that's happening in the main story, here's some fighting. Like, it's really good about bouncing back and forth. So a lot of the things I've said up to this point are just pretty much positive. Like, I have a really positive outlook on this movie, or not out. I don't know what I'm trying to say. My reception of this movie was very good. Overall, I'm extremely pleased with this movie. I think it was great. I'm really interested to see if they do more, because there was all this stuff with Liu Kang kind of going to go find Kung Lao, and now I swear, if we get a like spin-off movie series, whatever, with Shaolin monks, God, please, yes, I will watch. That was by far my favorite scene in the movie, was Kung Lao and Liu Kang fighting. And maybe I'm a little bit biased because Kung Lao's like my favorite character, but whatever. Anyway, I want to talk about the things that I didn't like. And I've really only got a couple things. I feel like the biggest glaring issue in this movie is the makeup. The makeup for Quan Chi and Baraka is pretty awful. I'm sorry, I just didn't like it. And then also, Baraka doesn't have his like normal kind of scratchy voice. He just has like a low bass tone kind of to his voice. And then they kind of did nothing with Baraka. I mean, they tied it together into the story enough to where Baraka's like kind of cool and likable, and I'll be happy to see him again in another movie. But it's just like, they kind of just made him a joke, I guess. And that would really suck for anybody who's like a huge Baraka fan. Yeah, the makeup was really bad. I don't like how they did it. It wasn't believable at all. I mean, not that it's supposed to be believable, but it just looked like they were like, here, that works, let's go. It just like, I don't even know what to say. I don't know how to explain it, but like Baraka's makeup in particular looked really bad. I think it looked good when he was talking, though. I was surprised that it didn't look like it just like his mouth was just kind of flopping around everywhere, and that's probably because they used CGI or something. That's a nitpick. I don't think the makeup for Baraka was very good. Quan Chi's makeup as well. When you would get like glimpses of his makeup from the side or from the back, you could really tell it his head like looked elongated. Like, I don't know why. It looked really weird. Like they put on too much makeup on his head to make him bald. Only other nitpick I have is Shinnok's amulet. I don't know. I feel like there was never any explanation of Kano stealing the amulet back in the first movie. I don't remember that ever happening. And we utilized Kano as just this way just to get the amulet, just to say, oh, see, look, here's the amulet. Like, it's just, there is no build up or any kind of, it is a bit lacking in the way of exposition for something like Shinnok's amulet. It's just taken out of Kano's pocket. And then they even make it a point to say, oh, we didn't even have to bring him back. He's just here. And then like Kano's just there now. Like, I don't know. It wasn't like bad or anything. I'm really happy Kano's back into the movie, and that they are willing to figure out ways to bring back these characters into the movie, because those characters are part of what makes Mortal Kombat. So for instance, Jax dies in this movie. I would like to see Jax back. I hope he's not going to be gone forever. Cole Young, I don't know why, but him just not saying anything basically and just being kind of a badass in this movie up until he wasn't. I think Cole Young was actually wholly improved in this movie. He's actually a cool character in my opinion. It just sucks that they killed him. He's dead. Cole Young is dead. And I guess I knew that was coming, but it still sucked. I still didn't want that to happen. I don't know why. It just felt really bad. And so congratulations to that. They did a good job with killing off Cole Young. That was big moment. I probably won't forget that. And see, this is what I'm talking about with like the games, man. The games don't ever have these moments where they kill off characters like this. And like, just watching Cole's lifeless body get pushed into the acid bath, that was awful, man. I was just like, no, not Cole Young. He's a descendant of Scorpion. And I'm glad that they kind of confirmed that. I mean, I think that was confirmed in the first movie, but it seemed like it wasn't really like they were just kind of hinting at it without telling us, but that's cool. I really liked a lot of the character moments throughout the movie. I feel like every character had a chance to shine and show off what they have in store. The only thing that I thought was a bit disjointed was the framing of like what the main character was for this movie. Because ultimately, I think the main character we really wanted to focus on was Katana. This is really Katana's story about how she, overcomes Shao Kahn, but at the same time, we still have Liu Kang being the champion, and he dies, and then we also have we have Johnny Cage, and he's supposed to be like, he's going to be this new champion, but like I said, they all get their moment. Like Johnny Cage gets to learn his powers in order to destroy Shinnok's amulet. Katana gets her moment to defeat Shao Kahn. And that was awesome. That was a really cool fatality. I was waiting for them to do that, where she sticks the fans in and then opens them up. That's exactly what they did. So like I said, they do a lot of things where they pull from the games in this movie, and that's just awesome. I thought Shao Kahn was awesome, seeing him use his like little shoulder charge thing throughout the movie. That was great. Liu Kang gets his moment with Kung Lao when they have their fight scene, by far the best fight scene in the movie. Oh, another nitpick is Jade. Jade, when she goes to the Nether Realm to find the amulet, she just starts shooting a beam of energy from her staff. Is that something that she's ever done before? I don't think I remember her doing that. So I was just kind of like, okay, they were good. They were good on just pulling from the games all the way up until that point. But that's, like I said, it's another nitpick. Yeah. I think that this movie will be very successful. I hope it is, so we can get a third movie. I'd be interested to see Cole Young come back too, man. Everybody talks shit about Cole Young, and I would talk shit about him too. Like that first movie is awful. That first movie is barely watchable. Like first movie, you just put on the first 10 minutes and then you turn it off. That's basically it. From all of the live action adaptations of Mortal Kombat, I do think that this might be the best we've ever seen. Production design, storytelling, pacing, the characters, they all get their moment to shine. It's really good. Go see the movie if you haven't already. I don't know why you're watching this if you're watching with spoilers. Enjoy yourselves.